This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
He is. Appreciate all of you out there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, man. All right. So Joe will join us now every week on Mondays. I sent out the schedule. What is it? Monday and what?
And Wednesday.
And Wednesday. So Monday and Wednesdays, Joe will be with us. All right, Joe. As you know, I am not shocked at all with this decision. I was kind of hoping that this was going to be the decision at the end of the season. Talk to me. How shocked are you? What have you been able to unearth?
Yeah, Big O, you were on it. I got to give you credit. You were absolutely right about the tension behind the scenes between Brian Flores, Chris Grier, and other members of the Dolphins organization. You were right on the money, Big O. And Chris Grier wins a power struggle with Brian Flores. I didn't know this was coming. On the surface, it's not easy to fire a coach who goes 8-1 down the stretch, who sweeps Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, who posts winning seasons in consecutive seasons for the first time in nearly 2 decades. It was clear in listening to owner Stephen Ross that this decision was not about that. It was not about statistics. It was not about wins. It was about people, and it was about relationships. And I think the thing here that we have to think about, the lesson that's learned, is that even professional football is a people business. Even professional football. Brian Flores always thought that he could do or say whatever he wanted as long as the production was there, as long as the team had more wins than losses, as long as the program was headed in the right direction. But actually, he was wrong. In the end, he was let go, not because his defensive schemes weren't good. They were. Not because he didn't reduce the number of Dolphins penalties. He did. It was because he didn't have good interpersonal relationships, and he did not have strong interpersonal skills.
Yeah, it was the Adam Gase, Randy Shannon. I know when you were in college, covering college, I think Shannon was the UM coach, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that during your run? And he had those issues also, that he just had problems getting along with people, and that was the problem here, that his issues kept getting in the way of some of the decisions. And Joe, this is where I would my suggestion to Chris Grier, and the Dolphins have made this mistake several times now, and they've got to stop making this mistake. The next coach cannot have power of personnel. The next coach coaches the team, period. That's it. End of story. Let the personnel department handle the personnel. The coach can have a suggestion, but what they gave Gase and what they gave Flo, I thought was a mistake. And with Philbin, he didn't have the same kind of power, but he would come in every week practically and complain about a player, because I know for sure, for a fact, that he was a whiny little bitch, constantly walking in there because he had a problem with personalities. And so for me, I think whoever they hire next, it cannot be a person that you add another chef in the kitchen, in other words. You know what I mean? You've got your kitchen. We'll give you the ingredients. You go cook.
All right, now listen, from a media perspective, and I have no ill will towards Brian Flores as a person or his family. He might very well go on to a strong head coaching career elsewhere. From a media perspective, this is a little bit of relief, because Flores was very difficult to deal with.
Oh, that's right. That's right, actually, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
And now I'm glad that Jim Harbaugh is not coming, because he's also very difficult to deal with.
Yes.
I always thought that if Flores was not transparent with us and combative and almost belittling, what was he like behind the scenes? And I'm told that at times he could be unkind.
Yes.
And that now, but here's what I want to do. I want to juxtapose that with this. That doesn't necessarily mean this was the right decision. I think
You're right.
Flores is a good coach. So I have some concerns about the decision to keep Chris, who I like and respect as a person and who had a strong most recent draft class. The Dolphins have this tendency to keep one, get the other, although Grier is a survivor. I mean, he's been around for so long, 2000, I believe, and the Dolphins organization hasn't had much success since he joined the organization. There just hasn't been enough success.
There wasn't any success before him either. Let's not create, and he wasn't in charge. Dude, he's not telling Wannstedt what to do, or Parcells what to do, or Saban what to do. We got to stop with that. He was just a guy writing scouting reports behind the scenes, and all his scouting reports are on hard drives, and they all get to read them. So if the new GM sees it and reads it, and they're good, you stay. If they're bad, you're gone. So if he survived all these guys, it must have been good. But he made a mistake with the coach, and now, to piggyback on your point, all Chris Grier did now was actually put even more pressure on himself, because now there are no more fingers to point. He has to get the coach right, because if he doesn't get the coach right, then everybody goes.
So that's interesting that you're portraying the Flores hire as Grier's decision. I've never thought of it that way. I always thought it was the owner's decision.
Nah, it's Chris Grier.
It's
Chris Grier getting the approval from the look. It's Chris Grier going, hey, I can't work with this guy anymore. He's an asshole. He goes against everything we do. He doesn't like Tua. He forces me to cut players. He changes decisions constantly. He can't build a staff. Steven, we cannot build a team with this man. I've got to get another head coach. Okay, all right, Chris. I'm aware of all the problems. You've kept me in tune with all these problems over the last couple of years. Let's make the change. But now it falls on you, Chris. You made a mistake the first go around with Flo. You got to get it right this time. That's
I always thought of it as Grier endorsing the hire of Flores.
Nope.
Listen.
Nope.
Stephen Ross said today that the decision on whether to pursue Deshaun Watson will be the decision of the next coach, and obviously Chris Grier. I think that's a little,
Well, but wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Owner has a real big say in who the next head coach is and whether or not the organization.
I think I clearly told you when you've been on with me, just like Omar and maybe Alan. I clearly told you that not everybody wanted Watson in the building. That's the part that people keep missing on. The chase for Watson was coming from one person mainly, the guy that hated Tua, the guy that never wanted to draft Tua.
I think Chris Grier is a very straight shooter and an honest guy. And I think when he says that the Dolphins pursued Deshaun Watson because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league and one of the best players in the league, that he believes that Chris Grier is being honest when he said that.
Sure.
Right.
And
so why wouldn't we think that they'll engage on him again? Listen, Flo has been right. He's been wrong. Maybe he's right about Tua. I think he probably is.
Maybe. That's the beauty of all of this now. Time's going to answer everything. We've hit the fork in the road now. Okay? So now you made your decision. The scapegoat is Flo. He's the problem. Okay? You've done that. All right. So that means now you made the right pick at quarterback. You made a lot of the right picks. That's the way you feel, right? Okay, now go make the right pick for the coach and show me that all these pieces are going to work together.
I like Chris Grier as a person very much, even though he doesn't really talk to anybody in the media. He might talk to you if you guys have a texting or calling relationship.
I would love to have an in with Chris, but no, unfortunately, but that would be nice. It'd be really nice.
But just to play devil's advocate here for a minute, which is the role that we play in our discussions, how does he survive taking Tua over Herbert? I mean, you believe that was his call, right?
Yes, I do believe it was his call.
It's a tough call, man. It's a hard one to overcome. I mean, I was thinking of you last night, Big O. I was watching Justin Herbert, and I tweeted about how watching him is thrilling and exhilarating and inspirational. And I was wrong because I thought the call was Tua over Herbert. So I'm going to sit here, take it like a man, admit that I was wrong.
Why?
I'm assuming that Chris Grier would admit that, yes, he was wrong.
No.
No?
No. They've done a piss poor job of building around the kid. That's all it is, dude. Does he have a tackle like they drafted this year in with the Chargers? I mean, I know Waddle's good, but he's not Keenan Allen, and they don't have a Jackson either opposite of him. And their coaching staff is clearly better. So when you get a better coaching staff and you get a better offensive line, because Flo didn't want Eric Flowers. So I tell you, Eric Flowers or Austin Jackson, a left guard. These are things that went on the team that he destroyed, dude. This guy didn't even know how to use Mike Gesicki on the damn team. He has him on the field, half the time. I think a lot of us are prisoners of the moment, and you're caught up in it, and you're disappointed.
Prisoner of the moment
because you're watching fantasy
Justin
stats.
Herbert
yes, he looks
like
fantastic.
a young Dan Marino,
and he
I
won
was
90,
wrong.
and
This
he won
guy
9
is
games.
a superstar.
I get what you're saying. Athletically, he's fantastic. He won 9 games, just like Miami did.
If Justin Herbert was a Dolphin, and I admit, I said take Tua, I think I was wrong. If Justin Herbert was a Dolphin, they would absolutely be in the playoffs, and they'd probably, in my opinion, be a top 3 or 4 seed.
They have no running game and no offensive line. How in the F do you think they're going to be in the playoffs? What are you smoking, dude?
We can't underestimate the importance.
So wait a minute. So he can't get a better team in the playoffs, but you expect him to get a lesser team in the playoffs.
Well,
how does that make any sense?
Defense isn't very good.
Oh, wait a minute. And one more thing, they also have to deal with 2 pretty good teams also in this division too. You know what I'm saying? So it also becomes a challenge for them. But I mean, give me a break, dude. Come on. You expect Justin Herbert last night, if he doesn't take the sack, they might win the game. If he doesn't throw the interception, they might win the game. But if Tua does,
are you suggesting that Justin Herbert was anything short of phenomenal yesterday?
No, phenomenal would have been if he doesn't take the sack and doesn't throw the interception. He played really well last night.
Orlando, I like you. I like you, and I respect you, but I think that sometimes we all have a tendency, especially you, to get dug in on one belief and not want to kind of say, you know what? Maybe my opinion is changed. Let me ask you this. From the moment Tua Tagovailoa was drafted, in what ways has your opinion of what he is and may be changed?
0. 0.
Oh, man. God
0.
bless you.
0.
God bless you for your consistency of messaging.
0.
Flo
0.
would be proud.
0.
And that's
0.
just ridiculous.
Because if I put him with Sean Payton, they're in the playoffs.
Well,
Because
you know what? Everyone thought if Adam Gase
Sean Payton would understand how to use him.
Everyone thinks if Brian Flores goes somewhere, he'd be great. Anywhere but Miami. Not everyone who leaves the Dolphins goes on to great.
Let's just go over history. Not one head coach that's ever left Miami has ever done anything ever again. Okay? So let's just get over that already. Okay? Brian Flores will be just like Adam Gase and Joe Philbin and Dave Wanstead and everybody else, and God rest in peace, Sperano, everyone else that's ever been here for the last 25 years, okay? None of them did jack crap after they left. All the personnel people have actually gone on to have success, all right? Up until Rick Spielman got fired today. But he did a really good job. He did a really good job in Minnesota. He just couldn't finish the quarterback. That was the one thing he couldn't get over the top, but he built some good offenses and defenses. I mean, Jeff Ireland has been a monster.
Been more productive than Tua Tagovailoa.
Who?
Kirk Cousins has been more productive as a professional quarterback in the NFL than Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah,
Would
you're
you
right.
agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. But does he have Cook at running back? Does he have that offensive line? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. Where's Stephon Diggs? Oh, I'm sorry, I must have missed all those things. I love how you guys use these comparisons.
Wait a second, Jalen Waddle.
It's just like it's just like what you just did with Herbert. You think Herbert would get a lesser team like Miami in the playoffs, but he has a better team with the Chargers, and he couldn't get them in the playoffs. And I know he played terrific yesterday, but you can't say phenomenal. Phenomenal, you don't take the sack. Phenomenal, you don't throw the interception.
Who took a worse sack yesterday than Tua Tagovailoa right before halftime?
It was terrible. It's terrible.
Listen,
terrible
I'm gonna for 2022.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask of you not to be Colin Cowherd, where you go back and forth wildly from black to white. Just try to be a little flexible, a little malleable, a little unformed, a little open-minded to maybe your opinion shifting a little bit left or right.
You mean like when I liked Flo for 2 years and then this year I said no? You mean like when I liked Dale Talon and then I said before everybody else fire Dale Talon and then they finally fired Dale Talon?
So at a certain point, you're open to admitting that Tua wasn't the guy. You're just not there yet, but you are open to it.
Where I'm different than most everybody is I'm not a prisoner of the moment. I give things some time to actually develop to see if they really are what they are. And where you and I philosophically are different on Tua is you look at him as a failure. I look at him like Drew Brees.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say he's a failure. I said that to this point, he has unfortunately not provided the evidence that he can be not only an Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes.
Did you really expect him to be that?
Not showing the evidence to this point that he can be a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert.
He's not built like those guys. He's built like Bob Greasy and Drew Brees. That's your problem. That's your problem. That's where you have failed completely. You're assessing a player that doesn't have the physical capabilities to do those kind of things. You have to assess him like you assess Drew Brees, and you have to assess him like even a Chad Pennington is the same thing. He's just a little taller, but he was a guy that didn't have a great arm, but he had accuracy. He's like Bob Greasy, bro. These are the kind of players that Tua is. To think that Tua is going to be Mahomes, that's unfair to him, dude. To think that he's going to be Josh Allen, he doesn't have those physical traits. And to expect that, Joe, then he's going to be always a failure in your eyes.
Giants announced the retirement of GM Dave Gettleman.
Well, that's hey, either you.
So I guess that means Joe Judge stays. Another Belichickian who's struggling. I don't know. Will Josh McDaniels survive? I thought it was interesting. Brian Flores in the postgame last night talked about how he's learned things about himself. I think he knew. No. Everything that Brian Flores does is intentional. There are no mistakes.
You're doing a segment I already did.
Oh, okay.
He knew he was shit canned right there and then. He knew he was done.
I think he knew that there was going to be a conversation.
No. He knew he was done. And it was like his last plea. Did you see how he said bye to Belichick on the field? It was like a little bit of a hug. Hey, remember me? I worked for you. I'm going to need a job soon.
Listen.
All right. So
it's a shame. It's a shame.
It is.
This didn't work because Brian Flores is an intelligent individual. He has discipline. He has structure. I didn't like that they were secretive and paranoid, but it is true that they were not a clown show like Jacksonville. I would rather have
but we lost to him under the big top.
I would rather have secretive and paranoid than a clown show.
Yeah.
The fear here is let's hope the next guy the Dolphins hire is not a clown show. I don't know who it's going to be. Probably an offensive-minded guy, probably someone who's been a head coach at some point in their life. That's my guess.
Oh, so that was where we're going to wrap it up with.
I don't know who, but
I've been saying hire a Jim Caldwell, Jack Del Rio type, older coach, that's been around the block and that can build staffs blindfolded left and right. and that can build staffs blindfolded left and right.
Yeah, Doug Peterson.
A guy that will hire real competent coaches and delegate authority and not have the ego that he has to coach every position. Okay. By the way, Wannstedt was like that down the stretch of his run, that he was so paranoid. He was walking into different rooms. He walked into Mike Westhoff's room one day and he said, all right, guys, we need you to do this, and that, and that. And then he walks out the door. And then Westhoff looks at everybody and says, if any of you mother effers do anything that guy said, I'm cutting your ass on the spot. You'll never play on my teams again. So
it's going to be interesting to hear the stories that come out.
Oh, yeah. The stories
always come out at the Senior Bowl. You won't believe this time this happened, and then it'll come out. It's Tony
Wise, Wannstedt's best friend. He walks into the meeting room of all the coaches, and he starts drawing. Do you know this story?
No.
He starts drawing an island, right? And then he starts drawing some boats and then some waves. And Tony Wise was Wannstedt's best friend. Okay. So like he and Wani were like this, and he came with him from his days in Chicago.
He passed away, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And he looks at everybody and he says, "Ha, you guys are all on the U-boats. I'm hanging out in the island." Think about the balls that you have to have, and what a king-size jerk you got to be. Rest in peace. To actually tell everybody, hey, you guys are out on the water in the sea, and I'm safe on the island. It's like, that's what used to go on behind the scenes at times. So, yeah, I've got
one thing I'll remember about Brian Flores. I remember I pushed him I didn't push him very often, but I remember I pushed him on Josh Rosen. I was just flabbergasted. I said, I don't understand. You have this 23-year-old. You gave him up the draft picks. The season's over. 2019. They might have had Joe Burrow if they hadn't, stuck with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Why? Help me understand how you're playing this 34-year-old, whatever he was, over a 23-year-old. Why not just get a look at this guy? Let's see what you got. All right.
Right.
And he basically said, Joe, you're not in the trenches. And I was like, oh, crap. Wow. I'm not in the trenches. He belittled me. He could do that.
Yeah.
But his point was, you don't understand what I understand. And of course,
you don't see what I'm seeing. Exactly.
You should know more than me. But in that moment, he had a way of making you feel small at times. And I'm not the only guy who felt that way.
By the way, don't forget to smash the like button and follow my man here, Joe Schad, on Twitter at ShadJoe. More importantly, folks, let's do the responsible thing here as great sports fans that we are all around the world. Let's subscribe to the Palm Beach Post.
Read the column I posted. It was that this wasn't about X's and O's. It wasn't about wins and losses. It was about people and relationships and Brian Flores' lack of interpersonal skills. Check it out on the Palm Beach Post.
Yeah, and make sure you just call it the Randy Shannon disease. And then you'll be all right. Then we can all relate to it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hope they get the next hire right, bud.
It's up to Chris Grier now. That he's put all the weight of the world on him now. He has to nail it. He has to hit it out of the park. But he's got the experience now of making that first mistake. He won't get more than one more. So we'll see. All right, follow him on Twitter, folks, like I do and many others, at ShadJoe. Joe, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
See you, bud.
You got it. There you go. Joe Schad and the American Dream Lending.com Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.